Hey guys, small change of scenery as I sit here on my dining room table today instead of in the office. So this video is going to kind of be a mashup video. I didn't end up taking a whole lot at con like I had expected for multiple reasons. Most of them being because it wasn't as great as I had hoped it would be. But I'll explain it later. So, I'll start out by saying that this will be, like I said, a little mashup. I have a lot of little videos that we took, and we'll go through them here real quick, okay? So, let's get to day one.
Hi, guys. So, we're a little exhausted because we just brought all of our crap out from the car. Our hotel was nice and lovely. Let us check in early, so hooray!
We don't have to wait until 4 o'clock to get dressed. Not that we want to right now.
So we're taking a break on a bed because
It's fucking ridiculous.
it's tiring. And I'm pretty chubby, so it's annoying to walk around with a giant ass suitcase everywhere.
On the bright side, we brought suitcases this year.
Hooray! Suitcases,
'Cause
bright
last time
idea
it
for
took, like,
cons.
5 trips and we were dying.
Yeah.
And now it's just one.
Now it's one and I'm only dead once. Oh, Lord.
Oh, we're gonna die.
Anyway, so ended up having to go pick up my badge. This is what they look like. I wrote queen on it. It's going to say the queen, but I forgot the word the, so I'm going to add it.
Mine says princess, but it's over on my bed, so I don't feel like getting it. Y'all can suffer.
So, yeah, we're about ready to get all dressed up as princesses.
Yep.
Hooray, princesses!
Her hair is already in braids, and we're gonna work on mine.
See, I pay people to braid my hair. Whatever. I don't care. So, time to get ready. That's all I got.
As you can see on day one, we were already a little tired just walking in the door. That's pretty much how the entire weekend went. It was a little extensive, but entertaining nonetheless. We did end up getting into our cosplays, which if you follow us on Two Moons Cosplay on Facebook, you will see all of those lovely images there of all the different pictures that we took throughout the weekend. One of the big things that we did was go to a Disney sing-along panel, and Brandy, being the person that she is, decided to get on stage and sing I'll Make a Man Out of You. So stay tuned. Here's that.
When I ask for sons, you're the saddest bunch I ever met. But you can bet you'll forward through. Mr. I'll make a man out of you. As a forest, but a fire within. Once you find your center, you are sure to win. Like this pale, pathetic heart, and you haven't got a clue. Somehow I'll make a man out of you. I'm never gonna catch my breath. Say what else you feel me. What was I was for cutting Jim? Yes, I was gonna get your death. Oh, you see right through me. You're not a good time. You have to swim. Your hands as swift as a coursing river. All the force of a great typhoon. And all the strength of a raging fire. Mysterious as the dark side of the moon. Time is racing toward us till the Huns arrive. Be my every order
interesting. She decided to jump up there and just sing and have some fun. Sorry, as you can see, my hair's all kind of frizzy from being in braids and stuff all weekend. D2 went rather well. I went as Helios from Sailor Moon. Was quite the hit. A lot of people were very interested in my cosplay, knew exactly who I was, and was thrilled to get pictures because they hadn't seen a Helios before. That night we did end up going to the rave. Nebkon does either a ball or a rave at night depending on the theme. The last couple years have been just the normal rave or dance. So Brandy and I decided to check it out this year. We were up later this year than we had been before, and we did see some really cool things. So real quick, here's a short video of what the dance floor looked like, just to give you an idea of what the rave looks like here at Con. So as you can see, it was actually a lot of fun to hang out at the rave and just do its thing. A gentleman came up with one of those really neat, really long poles that lit up on both ends of the pole, and it was like the neon-y LED lights, and it did like different patterns and things, and if you were skilled enough to wave it fast enough, it created different images and patterns in the air while you were doing it. So he got up front into the rave. They had a section that was cleared off for the DJ so that you weren't swarming them. And he got up there and decided to perform in the middle of the rave. I do have a small clip, so let's get there. So also on day 2, if you were a VIP, you got to hang out with all of the guests and do a luncheon. This year they had a lot more VIPs. Last year when we were a VIP, there was, sorry, you can kind of hear the cat and the dog in the background. When we were a VIP last year, there was maybe 15, 20 of us, and not everybody showed up for the luncheon. This year, I was told there was about 40 to 50 VIPs. They gave out a lot of passes. A lot of people won passes. They also sold a lot more this year. Last year when we were at the embassy, the room that we were put in to do the luncheon was huge. It was actually too big for the amount of people that we had, including guests and the staff members that follow the guests around for their safety to escort and stuff. This year they used a room that was too small. So it was just a tiny, tiny space, and I wasn't entirely pleased about it. The food was also cold. They did a baked potato buffet, which I thought was amazing. I thought that that was a great idea. Baked potatoes are awesome. They also did soup and salad, and so it was a light little lunch. But I was told I don't eat a lot of soup, so the people, we made friends with some VIPs and we're talking to them about it. And to them, the soups were cold and not cooked properly. Baked potatoes were stone cold. I couldn't even get butter to start to melt on a baked potato. They were that cold. So I wasn't really impressed with the VIP luncheon at all, which was unfortunate. And for those of you who are wondering, I did get my VIP badge situation figured out Thursday night, which was fantastic. Gil, who's the director of registration, did an amazing job at making sure I got taken care of while I was there. He actually did all of it himself, which was nice of him. Day 3, we did not actually stay all day. And the reason being is because we didn't actually enjoy a lot of what was going on. Yeah, there were a ton of panels, but despite what we had thought looked good, because when you look online, the schedules don't necessarily tell you descriptions of what each panel is. Anyway, and so we were like, oh, some of these look really cool. Well, then when we got the actual book and we could actually sit down and read through the book, which I'll show in the upcoming my swag video that I always do, I felt like they actually weren't that great. I like panels where you learn things, more learning things like cosplay related. So learning the different like different fabrics and learning different sewing techniques or how to work with something called Warbler, or like they had a panel that we went to, which was actually really nice. I really did enjoy it. It was how to wear a kimono, and they taught you the different ways that you could wear a kimono, what was necessary to buy, what you could make in order to make your kimono functional, those kinds of things. And I actually really enjoyed that panel a lot. We also went to Keith Silverstein's The Man, the Legend, the Dad panel. I was hoping it was going to be more like story based, like he was going to sit there and tell us different stories about what it's like, because the description of it discussed what it was like to be a father in Keith Silverstein's shoes. But then when we actually got into the panel, it ended up just being a giant Q&A instead, and I wasn't too impressed with that because we went to the Q&A session last year, and I'll be honest with you, people ask the exact same questions every single year. It's not often that a new question comes up. So I wasn't very impressed that it had turned into a giant Q&A instead. But we did stay for the entire thing, so it's always nice to see Keith Silverstein, which is always great. So yeah, Sunday we didn't actually stay for very long. We stayed for Todd Habercorn's autograph signature session, and that was it. He actually arrived late. We were hoping to do a little more. There was a couple things we wanted to do closer to noon, but something got delayed in Todd's schedule, and instead of his signature session at 9:30, it actually ended up being at noon. So I didn't get to do any of those things that I had planned to do in the afternoon, because we were planning to leave about 2 o'clock. But because his session was bumped back to noon, we left right after the session was over. So we didn't actually stay the whole day. Closing ceremonies is at 4, and we didn't stay. So I don't have any information for next year's con. To be honest with you, I'm not entirely sure what the future holds for going to Nebkon, even as a VIP, because I hate staying at the Hotel RL. It's too small. The rooms that the Ramada, which is what it was beforehand, got bought out by new ownership. Usually that means it's a new thing. Well, they spent all of their money updating the Zen Garden instead of updating any of the rooms. According to them, they're still working on it, but I didn't see a single room under construction of any kind. And every single person that I spoke to said that their room had not been touched at all. So they were run down. There were cracks in the walls. There were pieces of drywall missing. Our room, the beds were solid stone, and it felt like my pillows were boulders. So I was not happy about that at all. So I didn't get a lot of sleep, which was another reason why obviously the weekend didn't go the greatest, because even the little sleep that I did get wasn't the greatest. I could have slept on the floor and got better sleep than on the bed. The bathrooms were tiny. They were so tiny, it barely fit one person in there just to go to the bathroom. We're not talking about like using the mirror or anything. I'm talking just to walk in and go to the bathroom. There was like zero room. And my reservation was supposed to have been for a 2 queen bed suite. And there was no like little living room. There was no other amenity different from that room to another. So I felt like the small bit of extra money that I had spent wasn't worth the hassle. So I'm not entirely pleased that we returned to the Hotel RL when the only room that they updated was the main Zen Garden area, where they removed the garden and added risers and some other neat features, which the main area actually worked out great. They put a DJ in there at night, and so since it was a nice wide open space, there was plenty of room for dancing and moving and walking, despite crowds standing everywhere, sitting everywhere. So I'll give them credit for that. That was really nice. But the rest of the hotel has not been touched. Now, the new ownership has owned the Hotel RL for almost 2 years now, and that's all they've done. Shh. That was Apollo. Anyway. So I'm not entirely thrilled with that whole process. None of the convention hall was upgraded. A little bit of the main lobby of the hotel was done. They put in a new floor. throughout the hotel section of the center. And I haven't heard plans of them upgrading anything else. So I'm not entirely sure what the future holds for the Hotel RL, but I am not pleased with my stay at all. And I just wasn't. Nebkon staff was great this year. They were a little more knowledgeable, which is always nice to see, especially the hired staff. The VIP section actually got extra help this year. So Rochelle, who runs the VIP section last year, it was just her. This year she actually had a staff. So they went around to like the big panels, the autograph signings, things like that, and made sure that the staff that were working the door understood that there were VIPs in line and that they got to go first and stuff like that, which was nice. So there wasn't any arguing or fighting or anything like there was last year. I was impressed with that, and it was a really nice staff. However, I was not impressed that the VIP room shut down. We would go check out the VIP room about 7 o'clock to go grab a drink or something before we went out and did more panels after dinner. And the VIP room was already shut down. So everything was removed from the coolers. There was no snacks everywhere. They had packed everything up and put it away somewhere we weren't able to get to. I understand that you do not want staff hanging out in a mostly empty room by themselves for hours and hours on end. I get it. But I still feel like even if there was not going to be a staff member in the VIP lounge at all times, that we still should have had access to the room. Because that was our VIP lounge. And Nebkon is open on Friday nights and Saturday nights until 3 in the morning. Which I get it. You don't want to hang out there. Staff gets a break. When things like the vendor rooms close down, a lot of the staff actually doesn't work anymore and they get off their shift for the day. That's great and everything, but I still feel like we should have had access to the VIP room, and we didn't get that. So we didn't use it at all, except for the luncheon and to go pick up our bag of goodies, which I also wasn't happy with, and I'll show you why when I get to that part of the next video. Photo shoots went well. We only did the one this year. The photographer was nice. He was knowledgeable, but he let us run the shoot, which sometimes can be great, but then sometimes when you have people who don't know what they're doing running a photo shoot or hosting the photo shoot, it can get a little complicated. We were there for almost an hour doing photos because nobody was really certain of what they should be doing. I feel like we should have got more direction from the actual photographer. But they went well, and I'm excited to hopefully see pictures soon. If you are in the animated Nebraskon group at all, you know that there is an album where people have been loading pictures. And last I looked at it, it was up to 1,800 photos. So I have not actually looked through everything because that takes a lot to load, and my phone definitely says, no, and closes Facebook down. So the next time I'm on my PC, I plan to load it up and look at stuff. I do have a bunch of photos that Brandy and I took on our Two Moons cosplay on Facebook. There's a folder that I have on there, an album. It's called Nebraskon 2017. And I did put all of our photos that we've taken in that folder. So if you're interested in seeing anything, especially if you think you are in a photo, feel free to run on over and check that out. Give us a like and say hi. I was talking to my husband, and he thinks that he and I doubt, just as an us thing, we're talking about possibly heading up to Kansas next year and attending some of the conventions there. Maybe even Anime Iowa, we'll see. Just something for him and I to do is just a fun little family thing, since he knows that Nebraskon's more of a Brandy and I think. So we'll see what happens there. If so, I'll be sure to let you guys know. So stay tuned. Once I get this video uploaded, coming right after it, I'm going to be adding up the swag video of all of the cool things I picked up and discussing the dealer's room and my thoughts on the dealer's room and things like that this year. So stay tuned, guys. I will be right back.